so fast. What the fuck? Today we're gonna go through our facts. We haven't gone through our facts in a long time. It's our frequently asked mortgage questions. What's going on? My name is Min Win with What's a Mortgage. Welcome to our channel. The goal of our channel is to simplify home ownership. If it's your first time tuning in, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe or notification button so you are notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live every Monday night on Facebook and YouTube at 9 p.m. And we post content daily on Instagram and TikTok. So don't forget to follow us on our other platforms. So today, we are going to go through a series that we haven't done in a long time. It's called What the Fuck? What's our frequently asked mortgage questions? So over the last couple months, I have accumulated the questions that get asked the most. And I'm going to start by answering those questions. But if you have a mortgage question tonight, then I will do my best to give you a mortgage answer. And of course, if I answer your question, do me a huge favor. Please like this video and please tag somebody on it that will also enjoy this piece of information as well. Right, guys? So hopefully you guys are having a great night. So this can be a long night or a short night. It is up to you, but I'm going to answer as many mortgage questions as I can. So let's start with our question number one. The most asked question in the last probably 3 weeks. And that question is, when will mortgage interest rates come down? Of course, if I knew that, I'd probably be making a lot more money and I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I'm kidding. Of course, I would be sitting here talking to you. I would give you the answers. So right now, of course, you guys know interest rates stayed low for a long ass time from 2020 up to February 2022. Because of our cheap money, people bought homes like crazy. They overbid. They drove up the price. We printed a bunch of money and we dropped interest rates and we bought bonds and mortgage-backed securities, which made money flowing. So because money was so cheap, it drove up prices. And of course, it drove up inflation. Because of that, Feds had to increase interest rates to slow things down. So as they have hiked rates from about 3% up to 7% in a lot of areas in the United States, prices have either come down drastically, barely come down, and some have maybe not even come down at all. So as they keep increasing rates to slow down these price jumps, when will it go down? As soon as they can get prices to be stable. And the best way to make price stable is to bring down inflation. Standard inflation is about 2%. We're at 8.5% right now. So until they can bring inflation down, they will keep hiking rates. Also, unemployment is low. The jobs market is really tight right now. Even though we have 261 new jobs in the month of October, a lot of it is either seasonal or leisure. So I feel like the job market is going to crash hard pretty soon. So as the job market crashes hard and inflation comes down, then mortgage interest rates will drop. Of course, before last week, a lot of people thought the Feds were going to pivot because overall, even though job market is tight and up, people are starting to feel the inflation. They're starting to feel the downturn of our economy, the recession, right? Even though some people are still spending like crazy, but over as a nation, there is a recession. So until the Fed starts seeing these recessions hit harder with unemployment going up and inflation coming down because people can't spend because they have no jobs. Pretty much the Feds have to bankrupt this nation. They have to force people into unemployment, force people to starve, force people to lose their jobs. Then rates will come down. Hopefully that information helps you out. That was a mouthful, but pay attention to unemployment and pay attention to inflation, okay? And unemployment needs to go up and inflation needs to come down before you see mortgage rates come down. I am thinking the way they're hiking Fed rates, there's going to be another meeting in December and another meeting in January. I'm thinking second or third quarter when all these rate hike hits and the holidays are over and all this unemployment starts going up and inflation starts coming down because people don't spend because they don't have money, that's when they'll come down. So I'm thinking second or third quarter. I was hoping December or first quarter, but now I'm saying second or third quarter because I don't see inflation coming down anytime soon. All right, hopefully that helps you out. Second most asked question that people are asking right now: when does PMI fall off on your mortgage? So if you bought a home with a conventional loan and you do 5% down or less, 5% down or 3% down, once you have 25% down equity, 25% equity, after 2 years, you can call your servicer and they will do something called a broker price opinion where they will check the value of your house. And if you have the 25% equity after 2 years, they will remove your PMI. If you put 10% down or more, it could be 20 to 25% equity before 2 years. But definitely call your servicer and check. Every servicer will respond a little differently, but overall, it's 25% equity after 2 years, especially with 5% down or 3% down. 10 or 15% down, it could be less on a conventional loan. On an FHA loan, some of you guys got super low FHA rates. Unless you put 10% down when you bought with an FHA, your PMI is permanent unless the government changes the rules, right? Unless FHA changes the rules. So if you didn't put 10% down, it doesn't matter if you pay down your house 20%, you will still have permanent PMI, MIP, right? And PMI, unless you refinance from FHA to conventional. If you have a super low rate, you might lose your lower rate from doing it. But with FHA, unless you put 10% down, it will not fall off automatically like a conventional loan. Also, one more thing on a conventional loan. Let's say you put less than 20% down. As soon as you pay down your house 20 to 22% from the original purchase price, your servicer will remove your monthly PMI. Hopefully that helps you out. Okay. So question number 3 that people keep asking: should you buy now or wait to buy? And this is my opinion, and I've done the math actually as well. So if you are buying with less than 15% down, waiting to buy, you will have a higher mortgage payment. There's a reason why prices are dipping. They're not dipping because of the economy yet. They're dipping because payments are out of control. With higher interest rates, builders are not building single family homes. As you look up under the FRED, the Federal Reserve Economic Data, there's more permits on multi-units right now than single family homes. So if they're not building single family homes and we have limited amount of inventory, and the only reason why people aren't buying right now is because of the high payments. Payments keep going higher, that means prices are coming down. It would be hard to qualify later on for most people. Also, when prices pull back with the lack of inventory, there's going to be more buyers rushing the market to buy a house, which will drive up prices and you'll have bad terms again. So before 2022, when there was cheap money, right? So if cheap money happens again, right? History repeats itself. If cheap money happens again, what happens? It drives the price. So if rates come down, price will drive up. So if there's a lack of inventory, back in 2020, 2021, there was a little more inventory than we have today. So if rates pull back and you're putting less than 15% down, there's no deal for you to get because you're either going to pay a high rate or high payment and you might not qualify to get it if prices drop, or when prices pull back, you might not have that opportunity. And if you do, you might have to take bad terms. Like a lot of people who bought before 2022 got to pay above offer. If there's an appraisal gap, they got to pay it. They let the seller live there for 60 days or longer. That'll cover closing costs in the house. If it was a piece of crap, they would get no renovation. Okay? But if you are buying with over 15% down, I'm talking about 20, 25, you can wait to buy out a home, wait to buy the dip. The reason why I say that, because your down payment is big, you can offset a 10% interest rate. You can offset a 9% interest rate. If you're buying cash, you can wait it out. When they say buy the dip, look at the people who are telling you to buy the dip. It's people who are paying cash or putting a big down payment to offset the higher interest rate. Everyone who says, I'm just going to wait to buy, I can refinance a rate, but I can't refinance a purchase price. If prices get to a level that drops significantly, cash buyers will enter back in the market. Okay. I live in Orange County. If homes came back into the 6s and 7s, but I mean, rates are probably going to be in the 9s and 10s for prices to get back into the 6 and 7. I don't even think the 5, right? Cash investors will come in to buy the market up if prices dip that low. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for buyers who are putting less than 15% down to grab a property. Because think about it. If I'm a seller and I took that many L's already, a cash buyer comes in at full price, I'm taking it. Am I going to wait for a finance offer? Probably not. Okay. So if you're putting less than 15% down, buy now while you have the opportunity. If there was tons of inventory, maybe not. But there's not tons of inventory. There's less inventory now than there was in 2020 when rates pulled back down. But if you're buying with more than 15% down, 20, 25, 30, you probably can wait to buy the dip, or you have cash, because those are the people who get to take advantage of the dip. If you don't believe me, run the numbers and look at it. Look at a $600,000 home with a 10% interest rate. Do you still qualify? Oh, I'll just wait for rates to pull back. By the time rates pull back, market's going to bum rush unless you can cover the difference or take these bad terms and be okay with it. In history, I don't know too many times when the middle class was able to take advantage of anything that was provided to them in the economy. Typically, it's the rich, right? Warren Buffett gets to buy the dip. Normal people might not get to buy the dip. Hopefully that helps you out. Okay, next question. How does the 2-1 buy down work? The 2-1 buy down or the 3-2-1 buy down is a temporary buy down to buy down interest rates. Of course, even though there's a lack of inventory, rates are up, so there's a lack of buyers. So how sellers get buyers to buy their house, they entice them with covering their mortgage payment. People used to do it back then, but the way they did it was completely illegal. So the banks found a way to make it legal. They're able to take the money, put it in an escrow account. The seller is able to cover a portion of the mortgage payment. So year one, in a 2-1 buy down, they cover 2% of your interest rate. In year two, 1%. In year three, it goes back to normal. On a 3-2-1 buy down, 3% of your interest rate year one, 2% year two, and 1% year three. In year four, you're back to normal. So if you had a 7% rate, year one, on a 2-1 buy down, you pay 5% year one, 6% year two, and year three, 7%. On a 3-2-1, 4% year one, 5% year two, and 6% year three. And then year four, you're back to normal. It's a temporary buy down. Typically on a 2-1 buy down, it takes about 2.4 to 2.5% from the seller to cover it. On a 3-2-1 buy down, you need about 4.5% for the seller to cover it. So if your down payment's not big enough, you might not be able to get that type of concession. What do I mean by that? On a conventional loan, if you put less than 20% down or 10% down, you can only get 3% concessions on owner occupied. Okay, 10% down, you get 6%. So there's enough to cover your buy down and the rest of your closing costs if you go with a 3-2-1. On a 2-1 buy down, you can get away with it. But if you go FHA, you can get to 60% in closing costs. So you can do the 3-2-1 or the 2-1 buy down. VA, only 4%. Investment, only 2%. So you want to think about these things when you're asking for closing costs. But that's how a buy down works. It's a temporary buy down. Oh, here's the awesome thing about it. For some reason, you get the loan year one and you didn't get to maximize the buy down. Whatever difference that you didn't use, because it's in an escrow account, will go to you towards a principal reduction. So if rates drop, you grab the lower rate on the 30-year fix, and you get the difference back to cover principal reduction. Hopefully that helps you out. See here. Thanks, Gus. Do I do a 2-1? Next question. Do I do a 2-1 buy down or do I do a permanent buy down? So like I said, a 2-1 buy down will cover 2% year one and 1% year two, and the third year it will go back to normal. And that costs about 2.4% of the loan amount. On a permanent buy down, 2% will only buy down the rate about 0.75%. If you are a gambling person and you believe rates are going to go down the next handful of years, I would do the 2-1 buy down before you do the permanent buy down. But if you don't feel rates are going to go down in the next 2 years, then take the permanent buy down. For me, I'm a gambling man. I would probably do the 2-1 buy down or the 3-2-1 buy down. I actually probably do the 3-2-1 buy down. And I know that eventually rates will have to pull back. I day trade every morning, and I know what goes up pulls back, what goes down pulls back up. So there should be a retracement sometime soon. And if it does, I would grab it. And it's probably going to come sooner than later. The way the feds are hiking rates, shit should crash soon. Can I say that? I think I said that right. Rates should crash soon, and I should be able to grab that lower rate. So I would do the 3-2-1 or the 2-1 buy down. Hopefully that helps you out. Okay. Should I do a 2-1 buy down or an ARM? If you're going 10, 15, 20% down, and your loan amount is like 800,000, 600,000 even, depending on the lender, you can do an ARM, okay? An ARM right now, let's say on a buy down, you could buy down the rates 2%. So let's say today at a $1 million loan, 10% down, right? $900,000 loan amount, your interest rate on a 30-year fix on on an ARM, 10% down on an ARM would probably be 6.25, okay? On a 2-1 buy down, let's say rates are 7.8% year one, it would be 5.8, 5, almost 6%. Year two, almost 7%. Year three, above 7%. So for me, I would probably do an ARM if I don't think rates are going to pull back any soon. If I know rates are going to pull back, I would do the 2-1. My loan amount was that high, I would probably do the 3-2-1 or a 2-1 buy down and probably refinance later on. Like I said, I'm a gambling man. If you want stability, grab the ARM, okay? Do a 7-year or 10-year. Hopefully that helps you out. Next question. Should I sell my house to buy another home or keep it, rent it out, and buy another? So I had this question over the weekend. So I was talking to a couple. I don't think they want me to say their name. I was talking to a couple, and we looked at what they owed on their first mortgage. They owed about $140,000. Their mortgage payment is about $1,000 and some, like a little over like $1,500 or some change. They needed about $200,000 to buy their new home, right? And they don't have to touch any money in their bank account. So they were thinking about selling the property. The home is worth $500,000. So if they got $200,000 out, that's their loan amount would be $340,000. Okay. Or they got a line of credit, they got the first mortgage on $200,000. Let me do the math, times 6.5%, interest only divided by 12. Their payment is $1,083. So their new combined payment would probably be $2,600 combined. They say it would rent for $3,200 a month. Why would you sell your house if you could collect $3,200 a month for rent and it will keep going up? And they can get the $200,000 to buy their new house, to make their payments still comfortable on their new home. So to me, I probably wouldn't sell that house. To some other people, it might be worth selling it. Let's say you had a home and you don't sell and you hold on to it and it doesn't rent positive and you still got to come out of pocket to buy your new home. It might not be worth it if you unload all your savings. We had another couple, they had a house. They would have to sell to buy their next house. But if they did that, they would have $6,000 left in their bank account. So I don't think they should sell or buy at all. So everyone's situation is different. But the best thing you can do, give us a call. If you want to go through the scenario to see if it's worth buying or not, or go over your loan estimate, give us a call, 714-790-9697. Okay? You can email us info@whatsamortgage or review@whatsamortgage if you have a loan estimate you want us to review for you. But I'm doing a lot of VIPs. Of course, as the market is shifting, I'm jumping in, rolling up my sleeves, and also helping out. So if you want to go through the scenario to see if it's worth it or not, give us a call. I had a client reach out. I reviewed their loan estimate, like, girl. I was like, girl, right? Her loan amount was 900 something thousand. It's in LA, so it was high balance conventional. But I'm like, bro, you're putting 15% down. A lot of lenders will take that loan and dub it a jumbo, even though it's conforming loan amount since it's LA County. Guess what? Because we were able to show her proof that she can get a lower rate in payment, she went back to her old lender, fought for it. I didn't get the deal. I told, hey, I can't do that type of program, but I know there's one lender that does. So the other lender had to match it or beat it. So she was able to save herself thousands of dollars in origination fees. And also she was able to get a lower rate because we had, even that lender didn't know, oh, I can flip this thing as a jumbo, right? So definitely, guys, reach out. That's where I'm getting most of these questions from you guys reaching out. So you do help me with my content. So let me help you make sure that, hey, I can either find you a better deal or let you know should you do it or not, right? I don't tell you what to do. What I do is we draw a pros and cons and we go through it together. If it's pros or is it cons, and we just decide what we're going to do. All right, guys? Hopefully that helps you out. Next question. The last one. All right, guys, let's get some Q&A, some facts, right? Frequently asked questions. Some Q&A here. What up, Gus? How you doing? Also, guys, before we get into Q&A, do me a huge favor. If you're not following us on our other platforms, go ahead and do so. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. It would help me out significantly. All right? Also, guys, I got my personal channel on Instagram. It's called uncle.min. So on that channel, I'm going to put more information about money, right? I trade, tax questions and answers, things I go through in life and I've experienced, so I can help you get through it too as well. So it's not going to have anything to do with mortgage. It's more about just monies and finance in general. So check it out. All right, guys? So let's get into some Q&A. Let's go to the top. See here, 1 second, guys. Can I click over? All right, I'm going to go to the top. George has a question, but won't we have high unemployment? How are people supposed to buy? George, if you are unemployed, do not buy. If your job is not safe, do not buy. The people who have an opportunity to buy should buy. If they buy, make sure their job is legit, make sure they have savings. If unemployment goes up, we don't know who is unemployed and that is a homeowner. So far, foreclosures are down. Forbearance are down. 65% of Americans in the United States with mortgages have interest rates between 2 to 4%. 38% of them don't have mortgages at all. So you're going to need someone, George, who is laid off, who got a home, who has high interest rate. Because if the interest rate is low, most likely the mortgage payment is cheaper than rent in the house they're living in. Some of them will be forced to sell. Some of them will just rent it out, or it's cheaper just to stay there and figure out how to come up with money for rent. Or they can always ask for forbearance if they haven't asked for forbearance in the past. So I don't see people letting go of their homes. Most people who are selling their home and taking like big price reductions, they're still walking away with a good amount of money. They're not walking away with like 50 grand or nothing. They're walking away with something. So George, let me see, but let me see 1 second, guys. But won't we have high unemployment? We know we will have high unemployment, but high unemployment and inflation coming down is different within the housing market, because we don't know. Probably people who have jobs and their job ain't safe aren't looking at homes right now. So the demand hasn't really changed. The demand changes just a bit because prices are too high. It's crazy. Back before 2022, the average mortgage payment was like $2,200, maybe $3,300, $3,500. Now we have buyers out there with $3,500 to $4,200 that can afford a home, and they can't buy right now. If that price payment range drops into their demand zone, they're going to jump in and buy that house. So that's what's going to happen when if everything pans out the way it looks like it's panning out, right? Hopefully that helps you out. What up, DL? I asked a realtor to send a lowball offer on a property. She said the owner wouldn't take anything less than asking price, 3 times their purchase price with no improvement. Yeah, it all depends on the area. It all depends. Then all the properties that in that area at the similar price suddenly sold that week. 4 or 5 houses suddenly went under contract 3 to 4 days later. See, DL, I'm glad you're keeping it 100. Everyone thinks the heavens are going to open and Jesus is going to rain down and drop purchase prices, right? Think about this. If you were living in your home today and rates are in the 7% and it can get to 10, I'm not saying that it is, I don't know. Would you sell your home? Right? You're going to hold on to your rate and your home for dear life, and that's what's happening. You know who you can blame for this? Jerome Powell. He let rates stay so low for so long and printed a bunch of money. So people got into homes that they do not want to let go of. There are some people who do have to sell, but not everybody. That is the biggest challenge we're going to run into. And now builders aren't building homes. So when rates pull back, it's going to be crazy. You saw it in 2020, 2021 where rates dropped, all right? Hopefully that helps you out. What happens if your credit score drops before close with conditional approval? Tony, if your credit score drops, so your approval and your credit is good for 90 to 120 days. If they have to pull it again and your FICO's not there, they can suspend or deny the loan, okay? Hopefully that helps you out. I took your advice and bought now. I got an awesome 4.5% to 5%, 4.5% rate with 5% down. Woo woo for Gus, right? And some of the people, they reach out and, man, maybe I should have bought. I asked them this. Okay, so you paid a premium for your home, but where's your rate at? 4, 5, 6%? Your mortgage payment is probably cheaper than the guy or girl who buy now with a lower price with a higher rate. So what's important to you? Is it the price or is it the payment? Could you afford to qualify now if you didn't buy 2-3 months ago? Most of them say no, right? A lot of times people think, oh, I should wait for prices to come down. If you are a flipper, wait. If you got more than 15% down, wait. You got cash, wait. But if you don't, you're not playing in the same rules that these influencers keep talking about, right? You are a wage earner. You are on fixed income. It's not the same. When these guys are talking about wait to buy, they got the money sitting on the sideline waiting to buy. Do you? How much work you pay for 5 acres of rural land? How much would you pay for 5 acres of rural land? It depends on the area. DL, if you do DM me, send me the parcel and I will look it up and give you an answer. All right, so please DM me on Instagram. But I know you're on YouTube. You can email me at info@whatsamortgage.com. All right, hopefully that helps you out. And for those shy girls, don't forget 714-790-9697 if you want to do some VIP calls. All right. Quentin, had a builder offer a 1.10 buy down from 5 to 5.75 at year 2, fixed for the rest of the 30 years, 4.75 year 1. If you can get a 5.75 fixed for 2 years, does this sound? Let me read this again. Quentin Trachia. Had a builder offer a 1.0 buy down to a 5.75 at year 2 fixed for the rest of the 30 years, 4.75 year 1. Does that sound right? I think it's a 2-1 buy down because if that's a 1 year buy down, that seems kind of low. It doesn't sound right to me. I would need to see it. Typically right now rates are at, let's say you got 6.75 year 1, 5.75. I can see that. Year 2, probably back to normal. But to see year 1, 4.75. Oh, that's a 2-1 buy down. If year 1 you're at 4.75, year 2 you're at 5.75, then it's a 2-1 buy down. But if year 2, your final year, you're at 5.75, take that deal all day long. Hopefully that helps you out. My sister got denied for a conventional loan for a townhouse. According to the lender, Freddie Mae and Fannie Mac does not approve it because so many units owned by one owner. Can you explain? So, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac has a rule under their HOA questionnaire. If more than 10% of the units are owned by more than one person, then it does not follow their guidelines. So your sister would probably have to go with a non-qualified mortgage unless, probably not a townhouse, probably a condo. If it's a true townhome, it doesn't matter. But if it's a condo, which I think it sounds like it is, if they own more than 10% of the units, which I think seems the reason why they're denying it, then of course they have a lot of power, and in case something happens, they can lose all their other units, let them go. So that's the reason why Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac does not like that. So you can't go with a traditional loan. They would probably have to go with a non-QM, or I would look up the condominium to see if it's FHA approved, see if you can get into the property with FHA. If you can't, most likely non-QM. Hopefully that helps you out. CC, what about wholesaling California as a supplemental income? CC, I have my friend Ray. He's making about 50 to 80 grand a month wholesaling properties. So it's out there. But you got to make sure you've been doing it for a while, because you need to know enough people who know who's the person with the money. Typically, when you're wholesaling, you either have the money yourself or you already partners with people that have money that in a drop of a dime, you can cut the check. If you can't do that, wholesaling is kind of hard. All right, hopefully that helps you out. When is it worth refinancing my rate? Should it be at least 1% or 0.5%? I think because you got that low rate, Gus, of 4.5%, you would need rates to be at 4% or better to refi, which probably ain't going to happen anytime soon. If it does, there would probably be a frenzy on values of homes skyrocketing if rates ever get that low. I think rates are going to get in the fives. I have to see fours is going to be kind of crazy, but I've heard some people say it might get in the high fours, low fives, all right? Well, hopefully all this information helps you out, guys. If it did, do me a huge favor. Please hit that subscribe or notification if you haven't done so yet. Also, if you're not following me on my other platforms, please go ahead and do so. Hopefully I brought you value tonight. All right, guys? We want to end all our episodes with our attitude is gratitude. Without you, there is no us. So thank you guys so much and have an amazing